Hey guys, this is a brief description of the reflection paper that's due at the end of the term. It will be your project. The other points, of course, come from the discussions and the weekly cases. But the big, obviously, assessment for this introductory course to the MBA program is a reflection. The reflection is a 3 to 5 page double-spaced paper. It's all in the summary that you can find in the written version. Of your new or changed or enhanced knowledge of the concepts that were brought forward in this course. As an introductory course to the foundations of business, I'm looking to see takeaways that you've been able to connect to the material. And as described in the narrative of the project, there's 3 types of knowledge: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Coming from really 3 different sources. Our cases, secondary articles, journals, our readings from the text, and then also from lectures / discussions that are occurring online or face-to-face. You need to connect with that material. Each week there's really 3 main course objectives that are both in the syllabus and in this description, and then 6 kind of core units that we're talking about. Each of those 6 and then overriding 3, you need to somehow weave together a narrative of how you have been able to come away with a new way of thinking, totally new information, or an enhanced ability to use that information not only in your career, but how it's going to be tied to your work as being a master of business administration. So though it's a narrative, it can be written obviously in the first person. You do need to each time connect it to both the material and the outcomes within this very short end of term paper. It's important, I think, to jog your memory, or at least to start outlining it, that each week for each unit, you should be able to reflect back and say, those are 2 things or 1 thing or 3 things that I just had no clue about, and now I get it. Or I kind of knew about that, but I'm thinking about it differently. Or tertiary, I knew about that, and now I can actually apply it to something else and enhance that. That's the 3rd way. I'm going to jot that down. And then so each week, whether we're talking about marketing, we're talking about human resource, we're talking about accounting or finance, or this week or the first week about business, the business environment, you're like, I didn't know that. That's new. I'm going to write that down, and that's something that I'll talk about in my narrative at the end of the term. So again, this paper is first person, but it is connected to the content. And the best way to do that is to each write down where you got the new content from, the source, and maybe a sentence on a takeaway that you can then come back to and write another paragraph or 2 more deeply. There's 3 overarching course goals and 6 content areas. You could argue that each one of those is, if you want to get your 3 to 5, is going to be about a half page, and we're going to be there. So the 3 overarching, obviously, are kind of the introduction and the conclusion, and then the meat of it is going to be the 6 content areas. You have questions or comments, I will be each week reminding you about the paper and maybe highlighting some areas for you to think about. But if you have more concerns or comments or questions about it, either call me or email me, and we can chat about it a little bit more.